Well, a war of words in Congress over President Obama's amnesty plan and the funding of the Department of Homeland Security. Well, the House passed its version of the plan. Now the Senate says it wants another one. House Speaker John Boehner responding to that.
The House did its job. We won the fight to fund the Department of Homeland Security and to stop the president's unconstitutional actions. Now it's time for the Senate to do their work. You know, in the gift shop out here, they've got these little booklets on how a bill becomes a law, right? The House has done its job. Why don't you go ask the Senate Democrats when they're going to get off their ass and do something?
Whoa, that is, well, not uncommon language in Washington, D.C. Tammy Bruce is a radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Marjorie Clifton is a former consultant to the Obama campaign and CEO of Clifton Consulting. So, Marjorie, what's your reaction to Boehner?
Well, I appreciate his vigor, but at the same time, I think looking at the entire issue of immigration reform is a losing prospect for Republicans. It's hard for me to understand why at this point Republicans aren't working with the president on immigration reform. Understandably, it's political, but at the same time, going into the 2016 elections, we know that voters want this. We know that economically it is a case that is to be won by all because it ends up in a GDP increase by $52 billion, $5.4 billion in tax revenue. So, I mean, I understand the theatrics of it all, but at the same time, there's the practicalities we need to consider.
You know, Tammy, I mean, House Republicans passed their bill. Democrats are filibustering this thing in the Senate. So, you know, plenty of recriminations and blame to go around. How do you see it unfolding?
Right.
Well, you know, look, it's interesting. I don't remember the Republicans having any kind of power like this when they were in the minority. So good for the Democrats. I mean, they're showing the Republicans perhaps how to do a few things. Look, I think that with what we've already seen with the November midterms and with all polls indicate that Americans, in fact, do not want this amnesty to be applied. We know that, in fact, as Koskinen of the IRS noted, that it's going to be billions of dollars in earned income tax credits in a retroactive fashion for 3 years. So there's going to be no boost to the GDP. This is going to be a massive welfare redistribution of wealth. In addition to the bureaucracy that's being created, the applications are ready for May, and we're looking at a bureaucracy
Marjorie,
that is going to be massive and as unwieldy as Obamacare.
To that point, I mean, almost 4 million are eligible for this program that President Obama has set forth with executive action. Immigration can't handle that. And not only that, it's ripe for fraud and for criminal because they can't background check those people.
Well, a big part of the comprehensive package that Democrats have been pushing for a long time did include a lot of pieces that address this, because this was a concern. And look, if you're a consultant in Washington, you know that all the big consulting firms have been gearing up for immigration reform for now what has been 8 years. And so there have been, you know, organization after organization that have been preparing for all of these things like E-Verify and making that system work better and things that will deal with fraud. It's going to cost money no matter what, but they have implemented in the application process fees that will cover the cost of all these things. So
all right,
absolutely it's going to cost money.
There's a deadline, February 27th. Real quickly, Tammy, I mean, who's going to have egg on their face at the end of that?
Look, I'm concerned that maybe there's collusion again. You've got the Republicans, maybe we're moving up again to an emergency crisis moment where nothing actually gets done and this thing just kind of moves forward. I would hope the Republicans are working together, but I'm not so sure about this at this point.
Another crisis.
And I will say, no matter who...
All right, all right.
We
Tammy
do hope
Bruce,
it's not
Marjorie Clifton. Got to go. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.